Hi, my name is Byron Kemp. Welcome to Algoma Orchards. So it started with my great uncle Charlie, and now it's just me, my dad, and my brother. We're the fourth generation in the family business. We've been growing apples for over 100 years now. And apples my whole life.
What I like the most about growing apples is just being able to bring good quality and having people enjoy fresh apples all over the country. They're good for you, they're tasty, and they're grown right here in Ontario. The whole journey begins in the spring when the blossoms come out. We rent bees that pollinate the apple trees.
Crazy enough, if you have 2 good days of weather with no wind and right temperatures, the bees can pollinate your whole orchard within 2 days. That's how efficient they are. What they're doing is they're collecting the nectar off the flowers.
They are going from one flower to the next one. They transfer the pollen around, and from there the petals fall off and the apple begins to grow. As the fruits grow, to protect the trees and keep them healthy, we use sprayers.
Any farmer tries to spray as least as they possibly can, but
Sometimes you have to, especially in the springtime. As it grows, it is susceptible to a lot of fungus and disease. For example, right now we are spraying Epsom salts, which is just a natural nutrition for the leaves that also helps the trees stay healthy. Beyond that, there's a lot of day-to-day maintenance to keep the orchard in shape.
we're pruning the tree to help shape it so it grows better in the summertime. Managing the balance of fruit on the tree. Too many fruit on the tree, the fruit will be too small and be poor quality. So that starts with blossom thinnings. You're picking blossoms off the tree. And then as we're at this time now, we're also hand thinning. So then you're picking off apples to kind of space them out, make it so there's the proper amount of fruit per tree. There's summer pruning where you're cutting the branches so it allows more light to hit the fruit.
Next time you eat an apple, you will notice the red side is more sweet than the green or yellow side. That is because
The sun helps get sugar into the fruit. It helps bring the flavor out. It still surprises me, everything you do for growing fruit and getting good quality. And apple farming, you're really working all year round, and there's no real off season.
So the harvest starts in the end of August for some of the early varieties, and we are done harvesting in the end of October.
When it's full harvest time, we have about just under 300 guys on the orchard picking all the apples. To make sure the apples get handled gently through picking and transportation, we like to train our guys and how to handle them so they can be soft, gentle, to kind of treat them like an egg. So our priority as soon as the apples are picked is to get them cold as quick as we possibly can.
They go straight into a refrigerated truck, and once it's full, it gets immediately shipped to the plant.
Then once it goes to the plant, either goes straight onto the pre-sizer or it'll go on to a cold room.
The cold room is the control atmosphere room, and it allows us to be able to hold fruit year round, and it stays just as fresh. We'll put the fruit in there once the room's full. We inject nitrogen into the room that drops the oxygen level down very low, very quick. It stops the fruit from ripening, just puts the fruit to sleep. When you bring them out later in the year, they're still just as hard and just as crunchy, just as fresh and as flavorful as one right off the tree. At the same time, other apples are going into a pre-sizer, and from the innovation standpoint, that's probably the coolest thing that we have here.
It's basically a robotic grader. It takes about 60 pictures of each individual apple, and it takes about 2,000 pictures a second. You can get the grading of the fruit down to the exact percentage of color you want on the fruit, the exact size, the exact quality, the weight.
The technology will be able to pick up any defects on the fruit, and it can do like an X-ray that can pick up browning inside apples that you can't see from the outside.
Puts all of that stuff together, and then depending on our grading qualities for each customer, it will bring it out and drop it into that exact flume. Each flume will fill a bin, and that will be for a particular customer or particular grade quality.
After that, we go into packaging. The apples will get on either the bag line, where they are put into bags of different sizes, or the tray line. That's the loose stuff on the shelves you will see at a grocery store.
But most of the stuff's to order, so it just goes straight into our shipping dock and then out into a truck and then to our retailers. Any of the fruit that gets classified as juice, so all that is the stuff that doesn't look pretty. You could eat it and it'd be completely fine and still be just as tasty. It just doesn't look pretty, so it's not to the consumer's quality. We'll get put into our juice flume, and then we'll use that to make our cider. When we bottle it, We'll run it right through the pasteurizer, so it's where it kills the bacteria, and then straight into a bottle line, across the line, put into boxes, and put onto a skid, out to a warehouse, docks, and then put onto a truck and out to the retailers. We have a whole lab that's doing quality control that are testing the juice the whole way through. They're also testing sanitization levels throughout the whole entire plant to make sure we're up to code and spec on those. All the equipment is getting sanitized and cleaned. Everything we do is to bring the best quality of fruit to you, to make it so you can have Canadian product all year round or as long as possible, and safe, high quality fruit from farm to table.